a great millstone, man. Okay, which comes from Yahweh, because our will is not our own will, it's the will of him that sent us, man. Okay, that's what these people can't grasp. That's why they don't like us. That's why they call us bums, man. If the Lord was on the scene, they would have called him a bum. That's why, oh man, that's why the Lord said what he said. He said foxes have holes, okay, etc., etc., but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. What would a Baloo called him? He would have called him a bum. So that goes to show you that great millstone is the people that are pushing this trip, because that's what they say about the apostles, man. That's what they say about us. They call us bums. They call us homeless. But the Lord was a so-called homeless, man. Was he a spiritual bum? Okay? He was coming out there with the riches of the scriptures. He was coming out there with the riches of the kingdom, man. Okay? And if he came on the scene today, these people would call him a bum, like Baloo, like Nate. Okay, bum camps. Well, the Lord didn't have no place to rest. What are you going to say about that? That goes to show you that these people ain't coming within the vibration of Yahweh Shem Shai. And ultimately, it comes down to one irrefutable fact. All Israelites have talents, man. We all have a means of accessing wealth, okay, by way of the riches and the abundance of talents that the Most High has prescribed unto us. The same thing was the same with Yahweh Shai, but he chose to be poor. The same thing that we do, we choose to be poor, okay? Because ultimately, any riches that you're going to try to obtain within the society, you got to sell out for it, man. You got to make a pact with the devil. Going to show you that these individuals that must have made a pact with the devil for them to call us bums, because they have a certain leeway in terms of finances that they have been obtained from Esau. So they got to sold out. Okay, now Baloo doesn't count. He's just a bus driver, man. But see, that goes to show you the disparity between our people. That's what goes to show you just how deprived we are. To where if you drive a bus, you feel like you're some type of level way above your fellow Israelites, man. A gift destroyeth the heart. That comes to mind. He's just a bus driver. Okay? He's no CEO of some big top company out there. He ain't managing nobody. He's just driving the bus, man. And he feels like he's such a superior individual, okay, to somebody that might have a lesser job. And for the most part, brothers got jobs, man. Brothers got better jobs than bus and drives. Okay? But see, our wealth, okay, goes to build up our circle, man. Okay, it doesn't go to feeding our own bellies and being comfortable within the society of Esau. It goes to feeding the ones within the flock. Okay, within amidst us, the are going through particular predicaments, man. Okay, the wealth that the Most High has given us, or the money the Most High has given us, rather more, because it ain't wealth. Okay, the Most High, what we've been given from Yahweh Shai was to be distributed amidst the brethren, which goes to show you again that Baloo, that Nate ain't no brothers, man, because if they were brothers, they would distribute the wealth that they have amidst the poor, so everybody was going to be on the same level, man. And that's how we dealt with in Israel. And that goes to show you that they weren't off that Israelite mentality. They are about that Edomite mentality, which is about self and self distinguishing themselves as individuals, as superpowers, when they're actually not superpowers, man. Goes to show you, ye are of your father the devil, man. Anyways, getting back onto the scriptures now. The book of Proverbs, 1st chapter, the 23rd verse, okay? Turn you at my reproof, and behold, I'll pour out my spirit unto you. So you're going to turn the reproof of the Most High, get cursed out, etc., etc. The Most High was going to have the abundance of these scriptures made manifest unto you. It's just the truth. It's just the truth, okay? But because I have called, and ye refuse, and I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded, which is what happens out here. You come out here, you tell these jakes, look, doing wrong, get right with the Most High, etc., etc., and they just don't listen to it. This is what's going to happen. Because I refused, because I called and you refused, and you stretched out my hand, and no man regarded, but ye have set at naught all of my counsel, and I'll also laugh at your calamity. Excuse me. I'll mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as a desolation and a destruction, from the old destruction as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me. And I like that, because that ties in with Isaiah the 6th chapter, okay? Alright? Because you're going to get certain cats out there that think they're going to be slick, okay? Like Nate. And you can see that man screaming, Yahweh! He's going to be screaming that name when that judgment comes upon him and his family, man. He's going to be screaming that name. But see, what does the scripture says? Okay? Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Okay? So they was going to seek diligently the Lord in that time, when that judgment comes, the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay? Time of martial law. Time when great grievances is going to come upon the world. They were going to seek the Most High early, but they ain't going to find the Lord, man. They wasn't going to find him Why? Because the Lord has refused them, okay? Because they did not return at the reproof of Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai. When the time appointed for them to turn at the reproof of Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai was established. And this is the time we're living in right now. You're supposed to turn on to Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai right now in the confines of this existence and return unto the Lord. Not when it's comfortable for you, okay? Not when the Most High presents you with trinkets and gifts and so on and so forth. That's when you're going to turn onto the Most High. You're going to be in a jacked up, deprived position, and the Most High is going to say, look, I am the way. I am life. And you can't say, oh, because my position is jacked up, therefore the Most High can't be dealing with me. That's BS. Supposing gain is godliness. That's BS, man. Okay? You're going to say, okay, boom, that's the way, I'm going to follow it, man. Fuck to hell with this life. You're just gonna follow that path, man. And when you really go into the understanding of the scriptures, man, you find out pretty much all the prophets were on a jacked up, messed up position. Okay, the only prophets that was really on some type of level was really Daniel. Okay, he was raised in within that Babylonian empire, and he was on some type of level. But for the vast majority of it, hey, Job comes to mind. Job was all types of jacked up, man. Okay, and you're speaking about the disciples that followed Yahweh, they killed all of them, man. They killed all of them. That goes to show you our people is wicked, man. Oh, Jerusalem, thou that killest the what? The prophets, man. And then so when they came on the reincarnations as disciples of Yahweh, they all got killed again because that was the law of the wicked, which goes to show you that what? The prophets that was going to be of today, some of them was going to get killed, man. But we know that this is the last existence, and this is when the Most High is going to manifest his price. So, you know, hey, you're going to have some people make on the chariot. Some people's going to be already there on the chariot because they got killed off, man. You're just going to accept the law of the Most High, okay? Just going to accept it. Just going to accept it, okay? So we was in the book of Obadiah, okay, the book of Amos, the 9th chapter, and the 11th verse. And I was coupling that with Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. And we was working through Isaiah the 2nd chapter, and then we was going to go back into Romans the 9th chapter. Okay, so this is the book of Isaiah, Amos, the 9th chapter and the 11th verse. Okay, so Amos 9 and 11 it says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David, okay, that is fallen, and I'll close up the breaches thereof, and I'll raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Okay, which is what we was reading about within the book of Isaiah the 2nd chapter. Okay, which I shall carry on with now. Okay, so Isaiah the 2nd chapter, and this is the 2nd verse. It says, and it shall come to pass that in the last days the mountains of the Lord shall be established. So the Most High was going to set up the house of David that was fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and he was going to build it as in the days of old. Okay, now you got the understanding of that. Okay, right? And it shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above all the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. Okay, all right, now let's go to the book of Daniel the 2nd chapter and 44th verse. I always bring this out a few times, at least twice a week. Okay, one of my go-to scriptures, right? You know, you got basketball, you got go-to moves. Well, hey, within the scriptures, you got go-to scriptures, man. Okay, Daniel the 2nd chapter and the 44th verse, it says, it shall come to pass, and in the days of these kings shall the Most High set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. So it wasn't going to be left to Am. It certainly wasn't going to be left to Esau. Okay, but it was going to be left to what? It was going to be left to the rulership of the 12 tribes of Israel, which is the glories that we're reading about. Okay, within the book of Amos, the 9th chapter, really to just tie everything up. Okay, because I'm going on multiple tangential points. Okay, but to have it to where all of those points are nice and intertwined and linked. Okay. Right, we're reading about the glories, okay, that is spoken about within the book of Romans, the 9th chapter. And what you're seeing within all of these scriptures that I'm reading is that all of these different prophecies pertain to the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, when we went to these, when we was reading all of these different facets of the scriptures, you were seeing the word Israel, okay, covenants, seeing the word Israel popping up all over the daggone place. Okay, so when you go to where an individual is gravitated by those sayings, and he sees that it only pertains to the Israelites, there's got to be something within his spirit that tells him that he's an Israelite, and therefore these prophecies pertain to that individual. Okay, just like how the scripture says it. It says is it Romans the 9th chapter, the 10th chapter? Let's go to it. So I forget the exact wording. Okay, right? Let's go to it. Romans it's not Romans 10. Certainly not Romans 9. Right, forget the exact location of the scriptures, but to quote it, the scripture says, for the Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. Okay, so when you go to where an individual comes and he sees camp signs, and you got Esau marketed as a devil, okay, because he is a devil. Okay, you go to where Esau is marketed as a devil, and you look like Esau, but there's still something within you that says you got to hold on to this truth. That individual is going to be an Israelite because he sees the magnitude of these things that we're saying. And we're saying the so-called white man's the devil. We're saying that the rulers that be there, so-called white people, they're the devils. Okay, but we also say that there's going to be some people out there, if there's their origin was going to be of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, so that spirit within them is fulfilling that particular part of the scriptures where it says that spirit within them, right? I forget the exact wording, but it says that we are the children of the Most High. But the Spirit beareth witness that we are the children of the Most High. So it's a spiritual thing, right? Dudes is trying to quantify this spiritual body. Okay, they're trying to quantify this spiritual body in a way that it's gonna be it conforms to their own mind, to the lust of their own mind. Okay, and that just ain't gonna happen within this truth. This was gonna be a thing that was people gonna marvel at, man. Okay. It wasn't no black supremacist group. It was going to be what? It was going to be a spiritual thing, a spiritual body, a spiritual house. Okay? Because when you go back onto the laws were carnal, but ultimately they were spiritual because they were comprised within those laws, was comprising with multiple prophecies and meanings, man. You go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, you see the magnitude of the whole 12 tribes. You see the situation, the predicament that the whole 12 tribes of Israel was going to be in the latter days, man. Prophesied right within the second book of the law, you saw the whole situation, what the end was going to look like, and the future. Okay, because it said you're going to do right, you're going to have these nations in subjections. That's what we're going to, baby. But the situation that we're in right now, we're in a position of servitude. So your mindset is going to be, I got to get right with the Most High, so now I can distribute wealth and distribute the resources of the earth. Okay, that I can have the dew of the earth, man. Okay, because the person that's got the dew of the earth right now is misusing it, man. Okay, Esau is an abuser. Okay, a chronic abuser, man. He's done messed the whole earth up for what? An iPhone, right? An RFID chip, so you can obtain the birthright that you gave away. Come on, man. You the wicked. Okay, so Daniel the 2nd chapter, the 44th verse. In the days of these kings shall the Most High set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, but the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So we read about the great millstone, okay, and you're really finding out the spiritual connotations as it pertains to the Most High raising up his elect. Then you find out that Esau's kingdom, the Nebu dream. When you couple all of those ideas together, you get into finding out that all of these kingdoms are established right now by way of the elite banking families, where you got a great stone that the Most High is going to cast upon these people, and it was going to break in pieces, and it was going to consume these people. Okay, all right, and that's dealing with what the Most High is establishing, which is what we're reading within Isaiah the 2nd chapter. Okay, how the Most High was going to set up a mountain upon the top of the hill. Okay, we was going to be set up and reestablished, and we was going to break in pieces all of these different systems that Esau has endeavored to obtain. Okay, we was going to crush all of them, and we was going to rebuild, but we was going to rebuild in righteousness. Okay, so let's go back now to Isaiah the 2nd chapter. So this is the book of Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. I'll read the 2nd verse again, okay, for clarity and continuity. Okay, it says, "It shall come to pass then the last days, the mountain of the Lord's house," okay, the government of the Lord's house, okay, because when you have governments talking and having meetings and conferences, okay, what's it called? It's called a summit, okay, the top of the mountain, okay. That's a body of mountains coming to body. It's called a summit. Okay, so when it's scripture saying right here how the Most High was going to come to pass, the Lord in the last days, the Lord, the mountain, the government of the governing body, the elect, man, shit. Okay, so come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house, the governing body of the Lord's house, shall be established. Hey, these scriptures is beautiful, man. The scriptures is beautiful. It's beautiful, okay? We saw the same thing within the book of Amos, the 9th chapter and the 11th verse. What did it say? It said that that the Most High was going to set up the house of David, and the house of David is the governing body of the Israel, okay? Because when you had it to where King David and King Solomon, all right, which is the house of David, when they were in rulership, you had peace. You had these nations in subjection, okay? You had it to where Israel was doing just right, man. We was just good, okay? We was good, okay? We was doing the Lord's such commandments of the Most High. We were following them, okay? We was obtaining all types of riches, okay? Right? All types of resources we had control over, okay? But now you got it to where you have wicked rulers of our people, and they're causing the people to err, okay? But going back onto this point the scripture was making, let's go into that word mountain, right? H2022. Okay, doesn't say too much. Okay, does it have a root? Okay, it says a shortened form of a mountain or a range of hills, right? Sometimes used figuratively, which is what we're reading about now. Hill, country, mountain. Okay, so that's 2024. It doesn't really have an origin. Oh no, it does have an origin. 2042. But yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't really go into the understanding that I wanted it to go into. Okay, which is dealing with the governing body. Okay, and that goes into the book of Romans, the 11th chapter and the 7th verse. What then Israel have not obtained that which it seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, because the elect, okay, they are sanctified. They were predestined to get this word, because they are the governing body of Yahweh Shemel Shai. They are the mountain of the Lord's house, man. They are the governing rulers of the Lord's house. Okay, so let's go back into this. Okay, that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established, right? And it shall be in the top of the mountains. Okay, so it's gonna be the top governing body of the top governing bodies, man. Because you're gonna have Moab. They was gonna have their little government, their little system, their little way of doing things. Okay, but now you're gonna have it to where now they're gonna learn from our way. So here it is. You got it to where Esau says, look, you gotta use Visa debit, you gotta use Maestro, you gotta use contactless payments, you gotta use a Swift payment system. Okay, you gotta trade in dollars. Okay, that's the mountain established in the top of the mountains of this society. Okay, let's get into the understanding of that. That's the government, the way of doing things that is established as the standard to follow. Okay, now what this scripture is saying here, it's saying that this is going to be the top government, this is going to be the top governing form, okay, that's going to be assimilated by these different nations, man. So when these different nations see how we rule, how we conduct ourselves, which is what the scripture is going to talk about a little bit later on, when they see the magnitude of how Yahweh Shemel Shai is establishing this mountain, is establishing our control of resources, establishing how we control our householders, and therefore our kingdom, and therefore how we conduct ourselves amidst brethren, they're going to say this is the standard, this is the way we have to follow, because they have prospered in it. Okay, that's why the scripture says what it says here within the 2nd verse. Shall come to pass that in the last days the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountain. So we're gonna be on that untouchable, baby. Okay, in the top, like you got to where the Rothschilds right now, they're in the top of the mountains. They're the government. They're the mountain established on the top of the mountains. Okay, they're untouchable, man. Okay, they're untouchable. That's how we're gonna be like. But see, we're gonna be righteous. So our ultimate goal, okay, furthermore, our eternal goal, Furthermore, our eternal result, okay, our eternal resolute, okay, is gonna be always in that position. Okay, we're not gonna fall off that position. Like you got it to where you got the Napoleon spoken about within the scriptures, within the book of Genesis. We ain't gonna fall off again because we ain't gonna be seduced by way of the heathens. We got the Lord's such commandments and the Most High written within our minds. We read about that within the book of Hebrews, the 8th chapter and the 8th verse. So you ain't gonna have it to where we're gonna be drifting. Oh, there goes Edomite women. We're gonna sleep with the Edomite women. Now we're worshiping the gods of the Eden. Oh, there's a Canaanite woman. We're gonna sleep with a Canaanite woman. Now we're worshiping Dagon and Ashtoreth and etc. etc. You ain't gonna have that because we're gonna have the laws, statutes, commandments, and the Most High imprinted within our minds. We ain't gonna be seduced by way of the ways of the heathens, which is why the scriptures had it to where Jake wasn't dealing with what supposed to be dealing with them different women over there. But you got it now to where the black woman is the main reason why these Jake men are going way off the scriptures right now. Okay. Because when you go into the way the mechanics of how our family structure works, okay, how that the Jake man naturally within his nature, okay, he likes women, and whatever the women is way they're following, his mind was gonna be captivated towards that, okay. That's how he was going to destroy our people. So what did Esau do? He had it to where he destroyed the so-called black woman, and by destroying the so-called black woman, he inadvertently, but directly, destroyed the black man. And that was his intentions, to completely destroy the black man, okay? So when you go do saying, oh, you ain't supposed to be laying with a white woman, it's going to put demons, look, the black woman's going to put more demons on you than these so-called white man. You go to where these Edomite women, they'll tell you, look, I like what you do out there within this word, man. I dig that. But ultimately, you go to where the Most High is going to where amidst those people, amidst them women, you're going to have Jake women too, man, okay? But see, that bugs people out because they can't see past their own they can't see past their own streets, man. Okay, but getting back onto the scriptures here, Isaiah 2:2, it says, it shall come to pass in the last days that the Most High shall the mountain of the Lord's house, okay,